everybody, we're back with another episode of Wild Ride. And I want to tell you that as a guy in the back half of my 40s who just wants to beat up his body doing the craziest stuff possible, I have so much love for this week's guest, David Arquette. The guy's pushing 50 years old and he's in there just doing like heavy duty, violent backyard wrestling, all kinds of wrestling. Dude, this is such a crazy story. And he's got this documentary. He sent me a screener. I sent him my gnarly documentary. We both watched each other's projects. And then we got together to talk about it. Man, what a blast this was. Ladies and gentlemen, David Arquette. Yeah, dude.
Thanks, bro.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
And let me introduce my co-host, Scott Randolph.
Wow, right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Up there, we've got Paul Brisky.
What's going on?
And before we get started, let's reassure everybody that I have confirmed I have the COVID antibodies, so I cannot catch or spread coronavirus.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's like the chicken pox.
As long
Is
as,
it really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's dope.
as long as you have the antibodies. The problem is that your levels of antibodies go down and disappear. So ultimately you can get it again. But for now I've got them. And I actually successfully got into the Red Cross convalescent plasma donation program.
Nice, bro.
Because I'm a hero.
Yeah.
With my plasma, I can help people.
When do you go?
Dude, I couldn't get an appointment until like August something or other. But let's not bore people with that. Scott gets tested every week.
I'm cool. I'll probably get tested after this podcast.
He does get tested every week. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so let's get into it. My God, what a treat, dude. We follow each other on Instagram, and thank you for that.
Of course.
Where was it that we were on an airplane together? Was that coming back from the Conor McGregor fight?
It was.
Was it Jet Suite?
It was
Jet Suite coming home from
I'm
Vegas.
not
Burbank.
sure. It was in Burbank, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it was somewhere random because I was like, "Why are you coming back from somewhere random?" I don't
It was
know.
Vegas.
I think it was Vegas.
It might have been. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely was into the Burbank thing. I don't
Right.
think it was the Jet Suite thing though.
That's the only trip we've ever taken Jet Suite on. So,
Yeah.
right. But in any case, so I DM'd you not long ago when I saw the first trailer for your new documentary, You Cannot Kill David Arquette. And as soon as I saw that trailer, I was just dying to watch it. So I DM'd you like, hey man, congrats on the doc. How do I see it? And you said that the coronavirus had fucked it all up. So
Yeah, we got into South by Southwest, and then they sort of everything got pushed. So it's coming out soon. It's coming out at the end of August.
is the actual whatever distribution different because of
Oh hell yeah, everything's different. If it's in any theaters, it'll be in drive-ins, but no regular theaters.
so it was going to be a theatrical release.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
so it so deserves it, man. It so deserves it.
Oh, thanks, bro. I loved your gnarly
Thank you, man.
movie. That's fucking gnarly, dude. People have got to check that out, man. I was like, whoa.
I mean, likewise, dude. And what a treat to be able to both talk about each other's things that we just put out. But now I had followed on, I get my news from TMZ. I saw every time you were on there, like with the wrestling, and it was just like, wow, like David Arquette is like, how old are you now?
I'm 48, almost 49 in September.
Okay, I'm 46 now. So, like, we're in kind of the same boat where we're way past the age where we should be putting our bodies to the test the way that we are.
Absolutely, but you're on another fucking level, dude.
Well,
Have you looked into, have you like done the self-work, like why the fuck am I doing this kind of stuff?
I think I have, and for the most part, I'm actually in pretty good physical condition.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's so I'm just equating it to, in the film, there's a death match I do.
Right. Oh my God, we're completely familiar with it.
Yeah, and the
We're-
fucking crazy shit, and then just exploring like why I would put myself in that situation. My wife's like, "Do you just want to die?" Like, we have 2 kids together,
Right.
so she was just fucking pissed at me for even doing it.
Let's work people up to that
Okay,
point.
okay,
Because, because you know,
we just went right into that.
I mean,
the movie.
We definitely have that. I mean, that's such a notable scene. But the backdrop of this documentary is that you had a movie promotion back in the year 2000 for a movie called Ready to Rumble. And to promote that movie, because it was a movie about, I presume, wrestling.
Yeah.
And so to promote that movie, you got linked up with the, what is it, WCW?
WCW, yeah, because they were owned by Warner Brothers. So
Right.
it's like they did a movie because they had all these wrestlers like on the thing. When I read it, I was just a wrestling fan. I was like, this is amazing. It's like me as a kid growing up and still loving wrestling the way I did when I was a little younger and stuff.
Right. And so, and now, of course, the WCW was subsequently purchased by WWE.
Later, that's
right,
after.
that was the
So
next year.
when I came into it, WCW came in out of nowhere, and a guy named Eric Bischoff took him like to be beating WWE at the time. So they were kind of going back and forth. They called it the Monday Night Wars. And it was also like kind of getting raunchy and crazy, and they were like trying to up each other.
You had like evil Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
that's
the
how he started.
NWO, like that whole thing happened.
Yeah.
And then so when Ready to Rumble came out, they had already started losing to WWE, and WWE had now Stone Cold and The Rock, and they were kind of just taking off on a whole other trajectory. So it was sort of like a effort of just getting publicity for the movie, getting publicity for WCW, but they made me the champion.
Right.
Wrestling fans got pissed.
Yeah, they decided that to promote your movie, they would actually have you win the heavyweight championship title in the WCW. And if people don't remember the WCW, they'll certainly remember the personalities that were in the mix at that time. You beat Diamond Dallas Page.
Well, sort of.
I love the way David Arquette tells stories like the one he's about to tell. But I also love my cats, Winnie and Olivia. Now, you know what's crazy about the way I keep their kitty litter? Their litter boxes are in my favorite rooms in the house, like my game room. And it doesn't stink at all. That's why I get away with it, because I use the litter robot, which is the top-rated self-cleaning litter machine in the world, because these guys have been making them the longest, like 20 years. Here's how it works. It senses when the cat goes in. The cat does its business. 7 minutes later, it rotates, sifts it, drops all the waste into the drawer. All I have to do is toss the bag. That's it. Plus, the thing tells me when to do it, because it's got an app that notifies me on my phone when the drawer is full. It is so easy. And, oh my God, I'm so excited that now I have a second litter robot in my other favorite room in the house, which is the editing room. Dude, if you've got cats, you have to have a litter robot. And so here's how you get one. You go to catpoop.com. And if you buy a litter robot right now at catpoop.com, you're going to get a 90-day money-back guarantee, because they're so sure you're going to love it, plus free shipping. So again, 90-day money-back guarantee and free shipping if you go to catpoop.com right now and buy yourself a litter robot. Yeah, dude. Now let's hear this story.
It's kind of weird because I was buddies with him. He's the main bad guy in the Ready to Rumble movie. I came in and there's this. It was odd because it was a three-man match or something, so it doesn't really make any sense. And there was Jeff Jarrett there, so no, it was a four-person match. Jeff Jarrett and Diamond Dallas Page, Eric Bischoff, who was like the man, like the Vince McMahon of the company, wrestling with him, and me, and
you emerged the heavyweight champion of the WCW.
I really blame the referee, though. If you look back at the tape, Diamond Dallas Page clearly pinned Eric Bischoff. Jeff Jarrett, But
Right,
then
but-
the referee slid by and just counted. It was a
I mean, we know
misunderstanding.
We know that it was predetermined
Yeah,
that you were
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
the champion. So
I didn't want to at first either. I was like, this is a terrible idea. But then Diamond Dallas Page said to me, well, listen, if you don't do it, then this whole thing's over. The Ready Rumble's over. You're not promoting it anymore. It's just, they're not.
Right.
And then if you do it, you'll go all the way to the pay-per-view. And I was like, wait, can I get to like travel with you guys? It's like, yeah, bro, you're going to be on a bunch of matches. You'll travel with us. You go. And I was like flying on an airplane with Hulk Hogan and Sting. It was like a kid in a candy store, because I was telling them, well, it does kind of make sense that I'm like the first fan to ever be. They call him Marks sometimes. Mark. I'm
Right.
an actual Mark. Like and people think it's bad to say that. Who cares? But it comes from the old Carney term when they'd pat you on the back with like some chalk, and if they saw you buying stuff, so they see you're a Mark, you could get him to do anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, listen, I'm the first Mark to really become champion. And then they looked around and they said, we're all Marks. That's what he said. But I was like, no, but they didn't get it. Like, I'm the first fan. So I saw it as a fan finally living a fan's dream. Like, I thought it'd be interesting for fans. But it wasn't. They took it really personally. It kind of like destroyed Santa Claus for them.
Oh, there you go. Oh, dude. I mean, so the reason why we went into such detail to paint this backdrop is because it really affected you profoundly. And that's sort of the basis for your whole documentary, is that there was a lot of like hating. You know, people were like upset that David Arquette became the heavyweight champion, and it really hurt your feelings, because the only reason that you were doing that is because you cared so much about wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it mainly, like, I just hated how I was like a smear on the sport. And shortly after that, WCW did crash. And, like, I was attributed to, like, the fall of WCW. Me and Vince Russo, the guy who was writing all this stuff at the time. So I just kind of always left, like, a bad feeling in my chest. And, you know, it wasn't just that. I'd also have my addiction issues, and you know, I did a string of AT&T commercials that were kind of shit, like bad for my career in a way. Just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just like, you know, it was all on a downward sort of thing. And then, so I had like this heart thing happen.
Yeah, you got 2 stints.
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
That was like 2 years ago.
It was 2 years before the documentary. They said in the documentary 2 years ago.
3 years ago, something like that. I don't know.
And,
But yeah, I had a
and then
bad
you were
reaction.
on blood thinners too.
Yeah. You
as
get
part
on
of-
all these crazy blood thinners for the year after.
And when you're taking blood thinners, if you get any kind of a cut, it's just a bloodbath.
Yeah, and internally, especially if you get cut internally, you could just die because it's too thin and it's it's crazy. So they were telling me it was too dangerous to do. But you know,
Well,
you know
dude,
all about the danger.
I mean,
shit.
dude, it read throughout the documentary that what you were doing with all of this wrestling. I mean, you were just not. You were vulnerable, not just because of your age, but because of your heart, because of like plenty of things, and you were getting hit like tremendously hard.
Oh, dude, it is so painful. Have you ever tried?
Dude, I had the experience too, and like the thing is, people are very protective of wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, they're protective of their art, and my experience being me going in the WWE ring, I got beaten into a blackout. I do not remember leaving the ring. Like, they don't really want like some Hollywood hotshot to come in there and you know.
But to be honest, that's kind of like a lot of the matches, bro. It's not
Right.
It's not like it's choreographed, but it's fucking painful, bro. It's like I never knew how intense. It's more choreographed MMA to a certain degree. I mean, a lot of the old timers can do it a lot better, and they can make their shots look. A lot of the new guys coming up came up backyard wrestling. It's a totally different thing. People are just kicking people in the face. Like,
Yeah.
It's real shit. Like,
For sure. And I remember when I did the WWE, we would like kind of walked through like the main points of the match. And we walked and I was like, wow, you know, it's pretty heavy. But then when we were actually live during the event, it was a whole other story. I was like, hold on, dude, that's not how we walked through it. You know, like,
or remember and forgetting. But
Right.
did they take advantage of you? You might have like.
Well,
who were you wrestling
Well, he
with?
got mad at you. Steve,
Yeah,
right?
they did?
This
Yeah.
guy, Umaga, he's since
Yeah.
passed away, the Samoan bulldozer.
Oh.
And in his defense, I did not know that the match isn't over until you play dead and stop moving. And so he hit me, and I'm like rolling around. I'm like, oh man, that was crazy, you know. And he's just like, don't do that, you know. And I didn't know, so he hit me again, and I'm like, wait, stop, it's supposed to be over. And so because I was still moving around, he kept hitting me, and he kept hitting me. He hit me with his elbow.
You gotta sell.
Yeah,
he was teaching you a lesson. That's just that happens sometimes. You know, it's
I just
hard.
didn't
You
know.
learn things in the ring, like some of the stuff that they say. They say, okay, so like in wrestling, for instance, and it's just like all the way they speak. So they'll say, "What about a pile driver?" Let's say, "Oh, that sucks." Like, oh, okay. What that means is that hurts really bad, and you should not do it. When it sucks, they downplay everything because they're all tough. So they'll say it sucks, which means don't. That's super painful. So you just have to
Right.
until you learn all these little things. Like in the death match, I didn't mean to keep going back to it, but he said something. At some point he's off. This is where the ultra violence happens.
Sure.
I was like, okay,
Yeah, I mean,
this
we
whole
can-
thing's ultra violent.
We can get to the death match, but
No, we don't have to. But
let's
it's
just-
just a more example of like not knowing the term. So then when something happens, you're like, what the fuck?
Right. Let's just establish that you came up with the idea. You were the heavyweight champion for a period of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, what was it?
It haunted me for 20 years. Yeah.
18 years later,
Yeah.
you decide, all right, that's it. I'm gonna redeem myself in wrestling.
Yeah, but when I went through the heart stent thing, I was like, thinking I might die. I'm like, well, my family loves me. My kids love me. My wife kind of loves me. I think she loves me. I hope she loves me. But all in all, you know, I've done some things I'm proud of, some things I am not. But all in all, great life. You know, it's a good time, whatever. But fuck, that wrestling thing. I wish wrestling... And I was like, why am I thinking about wrestling at like that it's so important? So it always been gnawing at me. It happened before the internet happened. So when the internet happened, started back up, I was just always the low bar, the joke. And I was just like, fuck that. I never got to train properly. I didn't know what I was doing. They didn't let me do anything. They were just trying to protect me and not get me hurt. So my thing was I would get beat up. Someone would come and beat them up. And then they'd roll me on top of the person and I'd win the match. Like that's so it just added to me being more of a pussy than I felt I was. And I just didn't want I wanted to prove myself. I didn't want them to write the end of my story for me.
Right.
And I wanted to honor wrestling and do a documentary like why did people get so mad at me and understand it from a more interesting place. And I learned a lot like through it. I learned a lot about acting. I learned a lot about myself. Captured a period in my life where I was going through a lot of stuff. I learned a lot about why I was, drinking too much or doing different stuff.
Oh my god, yeah, there's plenty of that in the documentary. And so you get your ass beat. This is what we've arrived at. You get your ass beat over and over again once you decide to you call it training, but really, you got your ass beat. You wanted, like you said, you basically said, I want to redeem myself in the eyes of the wrestling world by just getting brutally beaten up, like to the point where you can't call it fake and you can't say that I wasn't actually a participant in the violence of wrestling, is my read on it.
Well, that's what training in wrestling is.
Yeah.
They toughen you up so you're ready for anything. You know how to take falls and beats and like how to take shots and then how to sell properly, how to there's all kinds of things you go through in a ring, but you
Right.
learn a lot especially about acting. Like I learned so much. You wouldn't think people don't think wrestlers are like the greatest actors or something, but what they do is so
Showmanship.
Showmanship, but also there's this time element in a ring where everything speeds up and you think like you're taking so long to walk across the ring, but but you look back on it and you run across the ring. You know what I mean? It's this crazy thing that you speed everything up. So you have to learn in wrestling to slow down. And there's a saying that if you feel like you're going slow down. You know what I mean? Because you can't, like, there's all this, like, you're playing to all these different people. You're just telling a story without words. You're just selling with your face and with your emotion. It's really intense.
And I mean, like, to be fair, you were selling it with, like, a hematoma coming out of your head.
Yeah, I took a knee to the face. Yeah, that was RJ City, my tag team partner.
What was crazy? So when you're talking about the training, are you talking about after Tijuana? Because, like, before that.
I just want everybody listening to this to really, like, just kind of get that we see David in every, like wrestling scenario, from being with these guys in Mexico who are wrestling at the stoplight in the middle of the street to collect change from the cars that are stopped at red lights. And by the way, those guys were the most impressive performers of the entire.
But those dudes are real legit luchadors. Right. They do that during the day because they've done it since they were kids. But they go and they wrestle at the biggest arena in Mexico, and that's just like their day job. And then at night they're doing the biggest arenas and the biggest shows. It's insane that they do that on a regular basis.
So you get your ass beat by the panhandler wrestlers in the street, who are the most incredible performers in the whole movie. You get your ass beat by backyard wrestlers.
That was before Mexico, right?
Yeah, before, yeah. You get your ass beat in like at the wrestling legends.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Yeah.
Championship, and then there's the other ones, the Legends of Wrestling. So you're in basically like arenas.
The first day of shooting, we got in this fight in the thing. They got mad at me for, it was.
Was that with the Nasty Boys? Or?
Yeah, the Nasty Boys. Well, we love each other now, but back then they were really mad at me. It was the first day of shooting. We called them up and said, listen, we're coming down to interview Eric Bischoff for the documentary. We'd love to come film your event. They're like, no, you can't film the event.
Right. You wanted to get in the ring on that one, or?
I wanted to, yeah. I wanted to just, like, do something, start something up. And I said, they said, you can't come film at our thing. No. And I was like, okay, well, we're still already booked all our flights. Let's go down to Detroit and interview Eric Bischoff. So we're planning to interview him the next day, during the day. But that evening, we're sitting and we're just doing B-roll. And we're sitting at the bar having a couple drinks. And I'm sitting looking at Eric. And then behind me, all the wrestlers start to pile in. And it's the day before the show, the night before the show. And they're filming. And we're filming and we're talking. And then someone... Jerry Sags, one of the Nasty Boys, grabs the camera and throws it, like just breaks the camera. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Because I didn't know that they were going around with the camera. I thought it was just like me and Eric. And I didn't even know that all the wrestlers were the people that just piled into the bar. So this whole thing comes up. This big guy grabs me by the back of the neck. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? Like, they broke the camera. I was like... And I looked over at him, and he had this big long beard, and I grabbed his beard, and I said, if you don't let go of my neck, and then his girlfriend punched me in the ear, and it was like the first day of shooting. It was so amazing. Yeah. It was pretty intense, and they got mad, and it's understandable. There's a lot of, like, respect in wrestling, and there's a lot of honor, and there's a lot of, like, stuff they've gone through. They put their lives, like, through so much pain that they don't want, like, outsiders going in.
Right. Plus, my take on it, and maybe I'm wrong, but my take is that there's a sensitivity around the idea that it's not actual fighting, there's a staged element to it, there's a scripted element to it, it's predetermined who's gonna win. So I think that's why you got such a hard time for being given the championship, not because like you did anything wrong or you were a bad person or anything negative to you, but the fact that you got given the heavyweight championship really exposed more. It exposed, oh, wait a second, that makes wrestling look fake. And granted, it is.
Yeah.
But that was over the line.
It's not fake. It's just
Right,
you know,
right.
choreographed.
It's theater.
Did you ever see that interview where the guy asked that, is wrestling fake? And
Yeah,
the
John
reporters got
Sloss.
fucked.
Right. So
He said, "Is that fake? That's an open hand slap."
Right.
That open hand slaps are really bad. Like that's essentially a punch with an open hand. So open hand slap happens all the time. You have no idea how hard that hurts until it happens.
Right. I'm not.
You're right on with all that, and especially the fact that I was an actor.
Right,
You
an
know, married
actor.
to like a girl I'm friends. Like, it's just like at the time.
I think that's why you took so much heat over it. That's why there was so much visceral hatred aimed at you, because there's a sensitivity in the wrestling community about anything which makes wrestling seem fake.
Yeah.
And so you took that very personally, and it really, really hurt you. And so now you come to...
I love wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious you genuinely love it, and so you get into this whole thing, and you're in all of these different wrestling situations, getting legitimately hurt, which is just great entertainment. And we get to the death match. So in the death match, it's kind of a combination between the backyard wrestling, but it's in an arena. It's sort of this hybrid of like the backyard and the legit wrestling. And so what that means is that they've got these fluorescent light bulbs breaking everywhere. They've got more kind of like props in there. You're getting like thrown through like legit furniture, which is completely shattering, and you're getting all beat up. And I don't want to give away what it is, but at a point in this match, this death match, there's clearly something wrong. You know, you can tell.
Ultra violent.
There's clearly something wrong, and the way that it's put together is so masterful, because I always say, you see your hand go to your neck, and it's like what's that all about? It's very noticeable. Something's really wrong, and like. You just kind of see your wheels turning in your head, and you're like, okay, something's really wrong. I got to get out of the ring. But then as soon as you get out of the ring, you're like, nope, the match isn't over. And so you go back into the ring with what is evidently like a situation that's going on, and you go back into the ring, get beat up a little bit more, get pinned, the match is over, and then now you leave the ring and you beeline it for the hospital, where it is revealed that not only was something wrong, but it was absolutely life-threateningly wrong. And I think we should just let people go and watch You Cannot Kill David Arquette to find out what was so fucking wrong. Yeah. And, I wouldn't give it away. But how long were you in the hospital after that match?
Oh, I was in the hospital for like a week or so.
They had to put some stuff back together?
Well, the first time I went to the hospital, they just sewed it up. But then the next day, I went to actually a NXT, one of the WWE events, and I was feeling so like delirious in there that I had to go, and then I had like an infection. I had to go in for at least a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh my God! It was like when they revealed what was wrong, it was like your heart sank. It was just like, oh, holy fuck! And then that is just the fact that you had that going on, and thought to yourself, I better get back in the ring and finish this match. That right there is your redemption in my eyes. Like the fact that you were passionate enough about wrestling to take a completely fucking life-threatening situation and disregard it to go back into that ring and finish that match. Like if that's not wrestling, then I don't know what is. And that was my favorite line in the movie when the one guy said that.
Yeah,
I mean, dude,
it's complicated as far as all that goes, and I don't want to reveal too much either. So I don't know how
we
much
don't
want to talk about it.
We don't have to kid now. Like,
I did think I was dying though.
Yeah,
it looked like you were dying.
Laceration right by. Yeah.
I tried to. What's not in the movie? I tried to pin the guy, just to like, if I'm dying, let me win. But I wasn't supposed to win, so he kicked out, and I did it again. I was like, and then I was like, fuck it, I gotta get out of here. And Luke Perry was there.
Yeah, he drove you there. He was in the car that drove you to the hospital.
Yeah, his son Jack Perry, who's an amazing wrestler.
Oh, dude.
Jungle Boy.
Incredible.
He's fucking amazing.
Dude, that was your your dopest move in the whole movie. You saved it for the last scene.
Yeah. That
one-
actually is because of him. Like, whenever you look really good in a wrestling match, if you're not too skilled, it's typically because the other person can make people look really good.
I would agree, but that was a double. That was a two-man move.
Yeah, that's called a Canadian destroyer. It's pretty intense.
Dude,
it's an intense move.
That was like, holy dude, you ended on a banger, dude. That last scene, that last scene was like, holy shit, because I particularly love acrobatics, and that was just a badass move. So, what is it, Jack Perry?
Jack Perry, Jungle Boy is his name.
Dude,
but
shout
that guy's
out
a
to
movie
him.
star. He's gonna be a huge star.
And that's Luke Perry's son.
Yeah, and he's at AEW, which is another emerging huge wrestling thing. It's crazy that a few of the people, like my trainer Peter Avalon, is he trained me, and he's the librarian at AEW. He's a really incredible wrestler. He trained me in the backyard. I have a ring.
Yeah.
And we just trained all the time, a couple times a week at least, and. Yeah, and then now Jack and a bunch of guys come over and wrestle. It was really like what I always wanted anyway, just to sort of be a part of it, be one of the boys,
For sure. Okay, so there's also a big component of the movie as it relates to mental health and like addiction issues. And there's this one scene that. I mean, I don't know how much you want to say about it, if you don't even want to say what kind of a treatment it was, but where you're losing your mind and
that's hard for me to watch. I'm one of the producers. My wife really produced this whole movie. At first she didn't believe. She's like, what are you doing, wrestling? She's like, didn't understand wrestling. She thought it was all dumb. The fact that I'm doing a documentary about it, she thought was dumb. She didn't believe it, but then once it started, she was like, okay. And she's kind of like that. She likes to control stuff, but in a great way, because we wouldn't have got it done without her. And
she's like the voice of reason a little bit,
Absolutely, but she's literally like booking flights. It's like she did everything, getting camera package. She's a badass producer.
And dude, this part is just important to me. And props to your wife for doing a great job.
Ketamine, ketamine. I did a ketamine treatment, and I was like, "Oh, please don't show that."
Now, ketamine, this is so important to me because ketamine was like among my favorite drugs of choice. I don't even have a drug of choice because I loved them all. But ketamine, I never injected it though. I always cooked it and snorted it.
Oh, really?
Right, but now it's presented in the film by an actual doctor that there is some sort of therapeutic value to just shooting you up with a bunch of ketamine.
That was a lot.
Yeah, they did a bunch in that one.
This is about to get real heavy, and you're going to love listening to it. Just like I love listening to stuff with my Raycon everyday earbuds. These are half the price of any other premium earbuds. And they come in this little cool case that charges them up, so they pretty much last forever. And you can control them, like push the button, stop, skip track, all of it. And half these other premium earbuds don't even have controls like that. They fit right in my ears so perfectly comfortably. I can lay down on a pillow and no problem. Dude, I don't go anywhere without them. That's why I have a standing promise that if you ever see me in public anywhere and I don't have them in my pocket or my ears / both, then I'll do your voicemail greeting, video shout outs for you and your buddies. I don't care, because I'm never getting busted without it, because I love my Raycon earbuds so much I never go anywhere without them. So it's time for you to get yourself some. Again, they're half the price of any other premium earbuds. How do you get them? You go to buyraycon.com/Stevo. That's BUYRAYCON.com/Stevo, and you're going to get 15% off your order. That's, again, 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/Stevo. You're going to thank me for it because I love these things. Now, let's get back into the ketamine. And
I've done it like 3 times in a doctor's office. The other 2 times is more where it's not as much and you stay awake, and you have a real therapy session on ketamine, which is really helpful.
Oh my God, as a ketamine addict, I was watching that footage, and dude, this is like one of the more notable scenes in a bonkers ass movie. You're losing your fucking mind on camera. Like, dude, in that scene they give you all this ketamine, and dude, you just turn into this thing which you can't even describe. You can't even describe what happens in this fucking scene. And I'm sitting there watching it thinking, oh my God, if there's anything therapeutic about ketamine, sign me up.
No kidding. I mean, it is dangerous with addiction like things, but one of the things that it does do is it resets your neural receptors. So if you really are kind of tweaked out, it can get you down to a thing. It also, like, with the right kind of therapy, I mean, I don't know, it was helpful to me more so to do it and with the doctor who gave it to me, and then my actual therapist. So I dealt with all these things because it's a dissociative anesthetic.
Oh my God, I love it.
It's also it's
I love it.
Kind of hallucinogenic thing.
Big time.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like hallucinating.
Did you ever go in a K-hole?
Oh, I mean, dude, I had
1998 was
know.
a K-hole.
I had
no
so
shit.
many experiences. It completely distorts your depth perception.
We're talking about the
Dude, I was
couple
in
experiences you had.
Dude,
Those are crazy.
I remember one time I was in a bathtub, and like my feet, I'm looking at my feet, they're like 30 fucking feet away. Like, I mean, it was like, you know, the depths were, like, I was in a hotel room, and the fucking whole hotel room just started free falling. Like, I'm in it, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm free falling, and I looked up, and I could actually see like a shaft that through which the elevator, not an elevator, the hotel room was falling, and I was just like, oh my God, having this experience. I remember thinking like, Jim Morrison doesn't have shit on me.
I love that. That's such a ridiculous.
I was just like,
That's
dude,
awesome.
That's your
like,
thought.
that was my thought. I was like,
that.
this is the coolest.
Oh, by the
fucking-
way, he doesn't. You way outdrug Jim Morrison, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, in your documentary, I was like, oh man, I saw some of the monster faces, and I was like, ooh. I'd gone to the dark side a few times, but I mean, more than a few times, but I'd seen that dark side, and that's a real scary monster place to go.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Especially cocaine and speed, shit like that. It's just like, ah.
Did the
Yeah.
ketamine treatments help?
They did, man. They did. You know, like specifically, I was thinking about my parents and their relationship, and that they had a like troubled relationship. We're always arguing about money, and I had this little heavy pain, and I'm like, wait, they're both dead. And I was like, turned to my doctors, and they're like, yeah. I was like, so all that pain is just in me. They're like, that's exactly where it is. I mean, it's, you know, there's generational pain that no matter if the people are gone, it still lives there. So then you have to figure out how to lift it, how to get rid of it. And that session alone did lift it quite a bit.
After the session, did you feel like you wanted to do more? Were you like, fuck, I wish I would have done more
Steve's
ketamine?
like,
No, I mean,
like,
that's
sussing
the
it out.
problem. You have to like get to a place where like the addict thing, that's a whole thing that you have to like figure out, be it through a program, be it through like just, you know, the self working on yourself. But I was like, through that whole process, I started figuring out, and with the death match, like, why am I doing this? Why am I like hurting myself? Or, you know, and it went to a bunch of different stuff. Like, I found myself getting really mad with my wife one time when she did something that made me feel stupid. And I was like, okay, she didn't mean it that way. Like, after I could get my wits about me. She didn't mean it that way. And I was flashed to when I was a kid, like I couldn't read, and I had dyslexia, and this one teacher put me in front of the class, and I was like it just made me feel stupid. So then I had gone through life feeling like, you're just stupid. You're so stupid, like just telling you. So what that does is it creates a neural pathway within your brain that there's a I'm just stupid neural pathway. So when
Shame
that
loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's these rabbit holes we go down. Shame, whatever it is, like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, ooh, whatever that is, you fucking don't deserve to live, whatever that is, a neural pathway. So what you have to do is reset your neural pathways. And you can do it with anything. There's this book called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And that is just a process of saying, I love myself. And what I use to combat the self-abuse part. So then you start this neural pathway that's, I love myself. And like when I start feeling some of that shit, as silly as it sounds, I'll repeat it in my head. I'll breathe and do it out loud. I'll do different exercises and meditations to set new neural pathways. So you set these new neural pathways, so when you see yourself going down that one, it's like, oh no, go to this one. And then once they're thick enough, they start going down those neural pathways. It's like, oh, I'm not a piece of shit. I love myself. I'm awesome.
Yeah.
This is great. I love myself.
And does the ketamine allow you to be like honest about it? Is it like just an A to B quick route to like?
So ketamine lasts, a couple hours or something,
It's like a true serum.
Not if you keep doing it.
Exactly. That's the whole thing with any kind of addiction and stuff. But I've noticed that even if I smoke pot or if I have a couple drinks, that lasts. Like the energy, me getting upset, just it affects me. Yeah, so you have to start seeing, like, how do you want to engage in the world? And, like, how do you want to be? Because I've tried AA and all that stuff, and I'm just not, I don't know. I know it works for a lot of people, and I love it. I really do. The whole process, that whole stuff is incredible. But I couldn't, like, be sober all the time. But, I'm finding now that I am sober all the time. It's more healthy for me, but I'm doing the neural pathway stuff and the positive kind of things, and I've figured out that when I do charity, it makes me feel really good. When I like exercise, it makes me feel really good. And then when you reset all your neural receptors, you're like, oh, it's almost like your life becomes, and then you find, like, how can you laugh more? And that's the drug I want to learn how to do. So then how do I do a life that's filled with more joy and happiness? You know what I mean? And then you become living this drug that we're always kind of searching for. But a lot of the drugs that you do have effects, or if you're an addict like I am, you just want to go deep into it. So yeah, I had to like not do ketamine anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? I did it for a little period of time. I did some micro dosing of it, which is almost like it helped a little, but it's like maybe a little scratch and I'm in charge of this palette of fucking little things that I'm chipping one little piece off a day. Where an addict is just like, you can't.
The horrifying underdose. anything but the underdose.
we were doing a stunt one time, and it was like, for Steve, it was like, take one Cialis, and Steve's like, give me 4.
It's like, yeah, I always did that too.
Yeah.
Like extra, yeah.
Right.
Just
yeah.
How can you cope? And like the whole thing, like, can I maintain the... I did this one thing, this one project. It was the only one that I'd ever been sort of high on, but I was like, can I stay up all night and on all this and still maintain tomorrow? And not so good.
Now, you said that, like, the whole 12-step, that you can't do that. And I think the position of anybody in our position, we're total full-on sober dudes. And the position of any, like, really sober person is, look, if you can pull it off, like, we don't care, we don't, like, care if you do it or don't do it. We just, like, that's what it's all about, is like, hey, if you find that when you take a drink that you can't control how much you drink and you can't stop drinking, and if you find that over and over and over and over, then we present to you that maybe you should do what we do. But brother, if you can, like, drink sometimes and then stop completely, moderate, then our hats are off to you.
But that's also a slippery slope, because it's the addict's, like, job to kill you. That's what it wants to do. It wants to fucking kill you, no matter what. So it could be a long walk down a long plank, but you know what I mean. So I know that. So I don't want to ever do that. And I also want to do things. I know also that all of my worst decisions that I've ever made have been sort of either when I'm drunk or something.
Right.
So I just don't want to make those same mistakes anymore.
Sure. That's
but
good,
I
man.
have had the experience that I can have a glass of wine and just like that, and it's the underdose, which, you know what I mean? You definitely want more, but, you also don't. Like, I don't know. I'm sick of, regretting shit.
I mean, dude, if you can pull it off, have a glass of wine, and then stop, our hats are off to you, brother. We're totally cool with that. Now, and dude, we're big Howard Stern fans, so we heard all those crazy calls.
Dad, speaking of bad decisions,
Yeah.
I know, regretful, crazy times.
I remember really feeling for you because I had known that you were sober for a period before that, and it was like, oh, okay, David's not sober anymore.
Yeah.
And dude, you were not in a good place on those calls, but
Especially those last ones. I was really bitter and angry. What happens too is it doesn't become fun anymore.
dude, you were furious at the world for not being loving enough.
Exactly. Yeah,
you were straight up furious. Yeah. So there's that. And, and dude, you seem like you're in a great place now. So we got no judgment, no complaints. You said just before about this pain around your parents and in your family, like people arguing about money, and that really seems interesting to me because in your family, I can't imagine that money is an issue for most anybody, right? Like how many brothers and sisters do you have?
Alive, one brother and 2 sisters.
Okay, and the sisters are Patricia and Rosanna Arquette.
Yeah, and then Richmond's my brother.
Yeah.
Richmond's the best. He's got the best Arquette trivia ever, because he's an actor too, but a writer mainly. And then he's the guy who delivered the box to Brad Pitt in Seven.
That's
What's in the box? I don't know, man. That's my brother. That's my
great.
favorite.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in all of David Fincher's movies, a lot of them. But
Dude, that was a great fucking movie, man.
So yeah, not really. But when we were growing up, yeah, we weren't rich kids or anything. Not even
Right,
close.
you were born on a commune?
We were born on a commune, and it was,
Some
crazy.
River Phoenix shit?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. This sort of philosophy from Indonesia. And 30 people came to live in this place in Fort, I forgot, Front Royal, Virginia. And then the guy who started it from Indonesia comes and he says, "What are you doing isolating yourself in the middle of nowhere?" This philosophy is about learning what your special gift is and going out in the world and making the world a better place. So if you're an actor, you should be where they're doing films and plays. And if you're an architect, you should be where they're building houses and apartment buildings.
How long were you living there when he came and said that?
I was only 3 or 4 or something. I was born there and we left around 4. So he broke up he said everyone moved. So we moved to Chicago and then we moved to LA. And we were my grandfather was this character named Charlie Weaver, Cliff Arquette. He that's a tattoo of him.
The Hollywood Squares?
He was in the bottom left square. And he was great and everything. And when he died, we got enough to get a house, but we didn't my dad was a working actor. So when there's strikes, it was tough times. If he got a commercial, a nationwide commercial, we'd get good Christmas presents, but it's not like we had any kind of silver spoon. And so my mom and dad would argue a lot about just stuff, just in general. My dad was, a pretty rascally guy, and
Sure.
there's a lot of stuff going on.
So which of your siblings was the first? I presume it was Rosanna.
Yeah, after my dad and everybody, but
But
yeah,
the first-
Rosanna broke the wall down for this generation. She came out when she was 15 or 15,
yeah?
and she ran away from home, stayed with the family here that our family knew, and she actually went into an audition, and the story goes, I have to talk to her about it again, but she went to, she read about this character who had epilepsy, and she somehow got the sides and went to the office and sat there all day. And the casting director came out and she was like, "Do you have an appointment?" And she's like, "No." And then they're like, "Okay." And then they sort of left everybody. And at the end of the day, they're like, "I'm sorry. Well, you don't have an appointment." She's like, "Oh, all right. I was just thinking maybe I could audition for it." She got up to walk and she like hit the ground and started having an epileptic fit. And they're like, "Oh, no. Everyone freaked out. And she was acting. And they were blown away and she got the part.
Dude, that's epic. The first time I remember her in, like, God, I want to say it was like 1985 in the movie with Madonna.
Yeah, Desperately Seeking Susan. Yeah.
Right. So that was she had
that was a big break for her. Yeah.
But she had a career for a while before that.
Yeah, a while before that. Yeah, she worked with Betty Davis. She's a tremendous.
It was cool to see her in your doc. I mean, she's been out of the public eye.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, she's been doing stuff. That's this business. It's so crazy. You know what I mean? You're like, she's fucking badass. Like, she should be getting all the roles she wants. You know what I mean? But it's just this crazy fucking business where you're hot and you're not. And that's sort of, we talk about a little of that. And it's sort of attributed to, like, the wrestling really brought me, but that's not really the true stories. My drinking, calling into Howard Stern, and doing certain things, like being out. I have a nightclub called Bootsy Bellows, so being out there, getting caught on TMZ all drunk, and just acting stupid, doing those commercials, choosing badly when the roles. Because it's really specific. If you want to build a career, you have to be really specific about what you do. Some people don't work for 2 years until that right role comes back up, and they're really specific. They don't
strategic.
Yeah, strategic. And I've never been like that. I like to work. We've always been like working actors. So I'll do something, a kids show, or I'll do this, but people frown on that.
The part I think that you're talking about in the documentary, it's really kind of like sad. It's towards the beginning, and you're driving your car, and you're saying, "Man, I've been auditioning for roles for the last 10 years, and I keep not getting the roles." And you said, imagine going to a job interview 10 years in a row, and you never get the job, but you just keep shooting up and go for another interview. And I just remember thinking, man, like, it was so, like, genuinely brave for you to be that vulnerable, for you to be that candid, and be like, "Hey, look, like, I've been getting rejected for 10 years." Like, that, and for having that at the beginning of the documentary, it's like, wow, David's not doing this documentary to make himself look good. Like, right out of the gate, he's coming out and saying, hey.
That's also them making a movie, and that's also, like, I had notes in the editing room. It's part of the reason I got pulled out. Because I had worked within that 10 years, but it's only if somebody offered me something. You know what I mean? It's just I didn't get a job off of an audition. And I said it right after that, but when you get down in the editing room, it's like you need seconds. So they're like, we just have to slice that out. So it's a little misleading. There's a couple things that are a little misleading, but it's it's true
almost,
in its essence.
But it's like wrestling. Sorry to cut you off, Steve.
Yes.
It's like wrestling, where in that it's choreographed, but it's still real.
Absolutely,
as fuck,
that's the whole movie, and that's the whole sort of situation.
I loved that.
And there was something just so genuine about the way that you said that like, was profound. It was impactful.
Thanks,
and
man.
I remember thinking, like, as I saw that, I was like, well, shit, like, you think of David Arquette as, like a really successful guy. I do, I think of you as like a really successful guy in the movie. You've got this beautiful gated home, which is like clearly, just a expensive lifestyle. It reads, and then put it together. Well, if he hasn't been working that much in his career, he's got this big, beautiful, like, Los Angeles gated mansion. Then, like, and I think, oh yeah, it's because he owned the Bootsy Bellows nightclub. So is that like really, really profitable for you? It was like that. It was like the hippest.
Does good and all that, but no, I mean, not really. I mean, if you want to be brutally honest, I just moved to Nashville because there's no state tax. You know what I mean? For a much cheaper house. I mean, just to keep up with the Joneses in Los Angeles is expensive. You know what I mean? So this being that, yes, I did well. It's all in perspective. I mean, what people are going through right now, I just can't even imagine.
my God.
And I'm like I feel it. So I'm just, for the next part of my life, it's all going to be charity based. It's all going to be a fucking thing that construct that's different than any other corporation.
Dude, talking about charity, like one of my favorite people in the world is the legend Tony Hawk, right? And when the pandemic started, Tony Hawk put on his Instagram this unbelievable photo. They went to an empty water park, and this gigantic tube thing, he did a loop around, and he's like, they got this photo where he's upside down at midnight doing this loop on this like 20-foot tall tube. And he signed 2,000 prints of this picture, sold them, and donated 100% of the profits to COVID relief.
That's so dope.
And I was inspired by that, so I went and did this crazy stunt doing a flip off of a building, and the photographer shot a sequence like so the print was just one photo of the building, but there were 7 of me doing a flip off the roof.
Dope.
Looked really cool, and I signed 1,500 of them and sold them all for charity, and I gave 100% of the proceeds to a food bank in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That's the best, man.
Yeah.
I love food banks. I work with Feeding America a lot. It's such an important aspect.
Dude, so now here, my fucking head exploded when I had this idea. It came from Tony Hawk. Take a dope-ass fucking picture, sign, 1,000 or however, just sign a shit ton of them, and then sell them and donate 100% of the proceeds to charity. I was inspired by Tony Hawk doing it. I did it myself, and then I thought, holy shit, what if it became a fucking thing called the 8x10 challenge, where we I nominate you to take a fucking photo and sign it and fucking sell it and donate it, and then you nominate someone else. The
Awesome.
8x. Can you imagine if that actually spread in any capacity?
Yeah, dude.
What a staggering amount of fucking money would be raised for charity.
I'm down.
So Tony Hawk and I are gonna get together and shoot a double photo where I go up a ramp and I'm riding along a wall, and he's gonna be off a bigger ramp riding over me in the same picture.
I love it.
Yeah, I did a double picture with John Jones, the UFC champ.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, I don't know. I put it out there, man. I think it's a solid way to raise money for charity.
Awesome. Yeah, there's this whole wrestling group that approached me to do something to sign just for this gift thing, but I'll do that. I told them I didn't want to do it because I don't know. I guess that's not charity though. We should figure out how to do it for charity.
And in your movie, you have this photo shoot to take like media shots or whatever, to sign. I mean, I think that you could tie it into promoting the actual movie.
I'm down to
tie it into promoting the movie, and when you're doing press, be like, hey man, I've 100% for charity. I've got my wrestling headshots. Pick one of them. I like the Magic Man one.
Yeah, I would love to have one of those. Wizard
Yeah.
They're limited. I don't know where we fitted a few of them.
Yeah, you get fucking that shit needs to get unlimited, dude.
Maybe we'll do the Magic Man as the one we signed.
Dude, I love
mean, dude, and there's got to be some kind of a covered in blood shot, or some super gnarly action wrestling shot, which represents for you the craziest moment, the most powerful fucking.
My
wrestling
whole thing
moment.
is I've done these signings and stuff, and I don't want to mess with wrestling, and a lot of people. It's part of
It's
their
a little
business. I know.
It's a little late to not mess with wrestling.
But I always feel bad. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I'm trying to come up with this.
You can sell them online.
I know. I'm trying to
for
come up with a
charity.
corporation. So a corporation's job is to limit human capital. You know what that is?
Human capital.
Yeah, there's human capital within every corporation, and it's a number. And it's the corporation's job to reduce that number.
So you mean to reduce expenses?
Yes.
So that you can increase profits.
Yes.
Okay.
But human capital and that number represents people.
Right.
So human capital is people. You know, it's literally people. So corporations' job is to eliminate people. And then nobody's talking about it. So I want to figure out how to create a corporation where you measure it by the number of human capital that you're...
I think
How
a
many
good
jobs
example
you
of
create
that.
or
Yes.
something, not like machines.
That's it. Like, that's the game. Like, you have to prove to corporate America that the corporate capitalist structure is completely wrong. And that's I don't know, it's a big fucking task, but the next thing I want to do is sort of in that world. Like, how do you create a charity and a corporation from it that then is sort of doing that?
Giving
That's the
people
next
like
documentary.
Insurance. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but dude, if there's any sensitivity on your part about taking a fucking like explosive photo of you wrestling with covered in blood, flying through the air, whatever it is, whatever's that dopest photo, like, dude, don't be bashful about signing those fucking things for charity, dude.
No,
Just
I
don't.
know. I wouldn't be for charity, but I always feel like you go to these horror festivals, for instance, and you sign a bunch of stuff, and I just feel, I don't know.
Like
I know
Comic-Con.
I know it's a lot of people's livelihood because, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of the people at those festivals are literally living off these festivals, and I get it, but I always feel sort of compromised. I wish there could be like, I just don't like the idea of people who might not be able to afford it, like coming to meet me and sign something. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
so
like, if like instead of
you
like
don't-
putting food on the table kind of stuff, I
Right.
just always get like the emotional like push pull and.
I think that you're picturing the signing being something that happens in person, like at a convention.
Oh, yeah.
Where what we're talking about is you get a box of 1,000 of them, you put it on your
I
Instagram,
totally
you
do
sign, you
that
ship.
in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, my whole thing is just that whole someone's buying it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I'm a socialist at heart, like hardcore, where it's like now that literally what we're seeing right now happen. I was like an Andrew Yang fan, and I read his book.
He was too.
Yeah, man, I read his book, and it just made so much sense. You see all these malls closing, like all this stuff's been happening for years,
Right.
And the whole the wealth inequities and the whole kind of thing. So like, how do we address that? And then I don't know, how can we get like base stuff for people taken care of, where their
Sure.
house, their food, their clothing, their education,
Right.
and their healthcare is just covered, so people aren't fucking so stressed.
Right.
And like not robbing as much and like having to do that to
100%.
live. You know what I mean? Like,
Start a commune in one of those empty shopping
I
centers.
know,
dude.
I know. Well, have you ever been to Burning Man?
No.
Fucking incredible system of like life, where essentially, you know, people set up these different camps where they, you know, will be having grilled cheese at 4:00, or this person's,
You
you know,
barter.
doing a turkey dinner. You know what I mean? You just different places, and you know, you could get clothes at this place. Give a shirt and get a shirt. You know, it's this whole bartering system. But it, for that like 2-week period, I think it is. It's the second largest city in Utah.
Jeez.
Is it in Utah?
Wait, not Nevada.
Nevada.
Is it Nevada? Reno. Yeah, it becomes larger than Reno or something for that too.
Yeah.
So when you go in, you get an actual.
I would have checked it out before I got sober.
Hard to stay
No,
sober
dude,
there,
you
'cause
can go sober.
I know they have like meetings.
I'd wanna go to
No,
mescaline
not even like
out.
that, dude. It's like a drug being there.
Right.
When I'm there, like, you
guy
know,
could just be like,
I've been there so
"Sure."
sober.
You want my shirt for a fucking syringe full of
Right.
smack? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah,
Right.
you gotta be careful.
Yeah, I mean, and whatever, dude. I think it's
No,
like,
but it's like a drug being there. Like
Yeah.
every year I'm there. I'm like being like you're in a total windstorm, dirt storm,
Right.
and you're sitting there. I'm like, why the fuck do I do this? It's
I'd be
hideous.
down to like take a
And then-
helicopter out there for a day.
Yeah,
and
you can.
bounce.
You can. They frown on it, but they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
an
it
airport
defeats the
there.
purpose,
Dude,
Scott.
They can have an
fuck
airport.
that. I don't want to sleep out in the dirt and shit. I just,
Yeah, but well, you bring this kind of thing.
yeah, this would be different.
I agree
Yeah,
with
let's
you.
bring that.
But then when the dust clears, then you see the most incredible art you've ever imagined. Like the place is like the greatest collection of artists. you've ever imagined. And there's weird shit, like such cool, crazy shit, like in the middle of nowhere, the biggest game of operation just sitting on the ground, like a huge, where it's like huge things, like you pick the big fishbone out and go bang.
How many
It's
times have
really
you gone?
nose lights up. I've been 3 times.
Man.
Yeah, but I do it the different, like, kind of the way people probably frown on.
I don't know that Burning Man is the solution to the world's problems. but
surprised.
I couldn't agree with you more that wealth inequity, like
Dude,
like
these fuckers, you don't need that much to even live the most lavish lifestyle. So it's like all these guys, they wait till they're dead to donate their money and do it in different ways. Like I just would be Santa Claus. I don't know if people like. I don't know. I know people think like, well, you gotta work, and of course people will work. They'll be more like jazzed up about working. I don't know.
The problem is the human ego and the idea of survival, the separation, like, I'm separate, I gotta take care of myself. And like the human nature is the more you acquire, the more you feel you need. Like I've seen that there are surveys of people who at all different wealth, levels, and it's so fucking shocking that the people who they survey who have like over $10 million net worth are the ones who describe feeling the most financially insecure. Like that, so like greed, greed just fucking grows and becomes like crazier and crazier, and like that's the key to the world's problems is for people to stop being so fucking goddamn greedy. But it's just not in our human nature, and so this whole problem with the wealth, the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer. Like I see the whole society, I see the whole world on this track that just straight bums me out, and that's why I got a vasectomy, dude. I straight up don't want to. I fucking don't want to have kids because it's like, our parents, our parents' generation. If they went to university, they got a diploma from university. That meant placement in a career of their choice. And then for our generation, the people who graduated from university, they had a better shot if they got a diploma. They had a better shot, but it wasn't a guarantee anymore. And now, for our kids' generation, going to fucking university, all that means is just burden of student fucking debt, dude. Yeah. Like it's downright fucking sad how opportunity in the world just dwindles and dwindles, and this propped up fucking Ponzi scheme that our American economy is, where it's just the rich needing to get so much fucking richer and fucking the poor just screwing them over so much that the whole thing is just propped up on toothpicks, and now along comes this coronavirus, which just blew it all out. It was already a bubble waiting to get popped. So yeah, I'm with you, man. My heart fucking breaks for what people are going through right now, man. And that's why I'm so jazzed to get on the 8x10 challenge, like whatever
I'm
it is.
doing it.
Yeah, oh dude, I love it. I love it,
Sure.
dude.
I'm down.
I fucking love it. And I don't know, dude. I would if there's a photo to set up in the back in your wrestling ring in the back, dude, I'd be pretty. We should, after this, we should jump into your ring and see what kind of a dope ass photo we can get.
For sure.
I got the backflip off the top rope.
You think you can pull a backflip off the top rope?
Yeah, dude. Like at my age now, like it's the backflip on flat ground I'm more afraid of. But you give me that top rope, and I get more room to rotate.
Do you still have the ring, David?
I do, yeah, man.
So you're moving to Tennessee?
Yeah.
Are you gonna bring the ring?
No, the ring will stay here. At another another.
You gonna give it to Jack Perry?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Are you bringing that giant chair with you?
That chair's that's in.
Dude, that fucking
That's
thing is
in
cool.
Tennessee.
I love that chair. You sitting in there just talking about I just want to be a kid. Like,
I don't want to grow up.
dying laughing.
It's
Yeah,
epic.
it's so funny.
I found that chair on Fairfax years ago,
Oh.
and then
Amazing.
it was some photographer's chair, and he used it for these photos.
Yeah,
I always used to collect big shit.
I think I know the place you're talking about on La Brea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but
You bought something there.
I bought a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that weird on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Metropolis.
Oh yeah, that guy's
That-
a maniac.
Yeah, okay. Well, dude, I think, you know,
I think we got heavy at the end there.
Yeah, that was good.
it's
Hey,
fine. I don't mind a bit.
I'm dying to ask you one quick question because when I was watching the doc, the first backyard wrestling match you went to, you didn't coordinate anything with any of those guys. You went out there and you pulled something out of your pants and you just hit this fucking guy in the face. Did he even know that was coming?
No.
So
All those
he was so
magic tricks
pissed.
were, yeah.
And you just came out and did that, and then he fucking punched you pretty good.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there thinking, like, was that planned or there's no fucking way?
You know.
You just fucking...
Dude, I saw.
You know, I didn't know, like, you know, there's all kind of, the director and stuff, they sort of mapped out where I was going and stuff like that. I came up with the Magic Man stuff. I had all these, I wanted them to play like.
That was like the first
Magic
match
Man.
that you were in the movie, and I was like, this guy, you're already owning it, dude. It's sick.
Oh,
It's
man.
also so well shot, the whole thing. Like some of those
Yeah.
shots are so beautiful.
David Darg and James Price are incredible
It's such a
filmmakers.
good job.
David Darg's the main shooter, and he's like, you know, incredible. Gets nominated for his short films, and he went to Ebola, somewhere in Africa when Ebola broke out, and was filming that shit. Like, he's hardcore.
Yeah.
Dude, I know there's another question that Scott wants to ask. I'm going to ask it for him. But in the scene where you're doing the spray tanning,
Yeah.
like, and you're wearing nothing, you're getting spray tanned, you're wearing nothing except this little thing over your wiener.
Suck, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, damn, dude,
Like-
David's got a huge dong.
I mean, dude,
That wasn't. I don't know. That's
it's not like you were trying
smoke and
to.
mirrors. It's all a work.
I don't know,
No. It's
Dude, like you're robust down there.
painted on shorts. Oh, that's so hardcore. If you haven't seen Gnarly, you got to.
That's
That was
great.
intense shit.
Oh, dude, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
I love
do,
it.
do you guys have more
Wait,
questions?
I do want to say one thing. In the beginning of your movie, David, you quickly reference, you're like, and then he made all these movies, then he made C-Spot Run just for the money, right? You
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that? I love that movie, dude. I love C-Spot
Thank
Run.
you.
Nice.
That
dude.
actual song was written like after I did Scream 2 or something by a band called the Black Math Experiment, and they wrote this song, and I got in touch with them on MySpace, and they like sent it to me, and I was like, oh, that's funny that you did it. But it was my wife's idea to include it in the film as like sort of like a get to know who I am at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I love it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man,
Thanks
I
for
just had to
liking
say that.
C-Spot Run.
Dude, I love it.
I mean, dude, your fucking career's been pretty impressive, man.
Thanks,
Fucking
man.
impressive.
Thank you.
It's
man.
killer. I didn't even know about a bunch of those movies that they highlighted in
So,
in the
are you
doc.
still doing like crazy shit to
Oh,
your
yeah.
body and stuff? Why? Why?
Tomorrow, dude, we got
No.
a bit.
We
We
got
got.
a
We got
Gnarly bit
for
tomorrow.
anybody listening, this was recorded the day before I went to go do the spinal cavity injection
Oh, shit.
fucking 30-yard dash. Or however many yards it takes.
Oh,
to
you're
fucking,
getting a
They inject into my spinal cavity a drug called chloroprocaine, which won't give me a buzz or anything. I won't get high, but it will just straight paralyze me from the waist down. Like my legs will go completely paralyzed, and we don't have a straitjacket. Maybe we'll just tie my hands behind my back or give me a
We'll
handcuffs.
probably have
But
some
right-
I had a
handcuffs.
straight jacket and it's in Nashville.
Oh shit. Maybe we'll
Get one at the.
I'll
at the-
fucking. We should get a fucking straight jacket, dude. Let's go to a prop house or something on the way home. But yeah, dude. So they're gonna have like a thing in my spine, and it sounds crazy, a spinal cavity injection, but it's actually pretty safe.
You can get
and-
one at the Magic Apple right here if they're
Ah,
open.
rad. And so they'll plunge it in, and like.
Please don't
Right,
do
like
it.
on your mark, like it's like on your mark, get set, plunge, and I'm just gonna start sprinting. So I'm gonna run until my
Until they
legs
hit you?
until my legs are paralyzed. Hopefully, I'll eat shit like crazy. But then
How long does it last?
45 minutes, my legs will be paralyzed, so I'll be on the ground and I can't get up. And I can't run away from the guys doing mean shit to me.
Okay, why would you want to do this? I mean, I get it. I get your It's for another show?
It's for another project.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the follow up to Gnarly.
Yeah.
That is gnarly, dude. That's really gnarly.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be great.
Oh man, maybe there'll be like some thing you learn.
There's gonna be something
Do you
I
always
learned.
learn from?
I mean, whatever. Like I don't know if I learn anything, but I sure love getting killer fucking footage, man. Like,
Yeah.
and I got a racing neck brace and a racing helmet so that like it prevents my.
Oh, good.
Like I can eat shit pretty much any way I want. I'm not gonna break my neck, and that's all I care about.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good. So at least you're being safer about it.
Yeah. And I got like an actual medical professional who's gonna be in disguise.
Oh, good.
So yeah, dude, that's a good one. And yeah, I love getting footage, and that's tomorrow. And then before
Don't
this,
even fucking hint at the next one. Because,
I know, but the next one's gonna happen before this comes out.
You want
yeah.
you want to tell them what you already did?
I'll tell them what I already do, dude. You know how I got fucking. I'm telling them.
Okay.
You know how in the beginning of Gnarly, all the Jackass guys duct taped me to the truck?
Yes.
And it's a billboard truck?
Yes.
Dude, we're getting a fucking billboard in the middle of Hollywood, like an actual one that you drive
Yes.
by, and it's gonna be the same billboard Gnarly. And we're going in there with fucking cherry pickers, like the thing that extends up,
Yeah.
and we're fucking duct taping me to my own billboard in the middle of Hollywood, and we're fucking leaving me up there. And it says right there, available at stevo.com.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, so that's next
I
week.
love that because it doesn't seem as self-abusive.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude.
You know what I mean?
Is there a billboard above Bootsy Bellows?
Hey,
Yeah, you
There's
got one.
outside
Yeah.
of the building.
there's a fucking there's a pot back here calling the kettle black.
Right here, by the way, yes. I know, but now I'm trying to.
Yeah, David, I'm curious. What's your takeaway from all this wrestling? Like you talked kind of earlier about why do I do this? Have you kind of
Just a self-love. I just had to figure out how to love myself and not beat the shit out of myself.
I mean, one thing's for sure is that to do that, to go back to wrestling because you wanted to get redemption from the haters, please tell me you at least learned that you're never going to get redemption from haters.
By the way, I know that's the worst. I always am in this cloud of
It's like
just love
responding.
me. I just definitely have that fucking chip on my shoulder.
It's like responding to a negative comment on social media.
Yeah.
No matter what you respond with, you're never gonna fucking get through to a hater.
No,
You're never.
you
can't engage with them.
No.
You can't fucking. You just gotta block them and move on.
Yeah.
Silence is the deadliest weapon. Silence is the only response to fucking haters, because if you give them any kind of energy, you're just feeding them. You're feeding them, you're empowering them, and fuck them.
For sure.
Yeah,
Nice. Thank you.
yeah.
I needed that.
Yeah.
And you made a great documentary, which is cool. And it's like, to the people who are going to hate you anyway, they're just going to take, and that's what fucking pissed me off. Because here you got you're doing all this super intense wrestling. No matter how intense it is, it's either, you went from he doesn't belong in wrestling, or man, he's fucking an idiot beating himself up too much. You're never gonna win with these people.
Never.
You know exactly what you did to redeem yourself. It just
I'm sure, there'll be
lands
a
with
ton of
some
hate.
kind of other judgment. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, dude, I think that the lesson in all of that is you do what the fuck you want to do for you because it makes you feel good, and fuck everybody else.
Thank you, bro. You too.
And I
just don't want you to hurt yourself. That's what I get. When I saw, I've been burned. I
burns
got
are the
this
worst.
crazy fucking burn. But I was just, and that was just on my hand. I can't imagine.
Yeah, dude. I know,
No,
man.
there's
It's intense. So yeah, I don't know where to go from there, man.
Thanks,
I think,
y'all.
I think it's
we're
good.
in fucking great shape,
Super
dude.
the
Really,
best,
really
dude.
good to hang with you, brother.
You too, bro.
Yeah, we're about the same age, man.
totally,
we both
man.
look great.
It's good, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. Did you go to high school?
Fairfax High School.
Yeah, and like people in high school, people who you were in high school with, isn't it amazing how they look like shit?
I know, yeah.
Like, not
know.
everybody's lucky. Like, we have our hair still.
I know, right?
Fucking,
I know,
like,
it's a
we
whole
look
thing.
we look pretty much like we always looked.
Yeah, pretty much. All the grays coming in now, though, dude.
My
Yeah.
mom's like, dude, what's
Gray
this
fox.
beard style you did? You shaved half your beard. I'm like, no, that's just the grays are there, and then it's.
I
brown
know.
under.
Have you did did you see like little patterns forming? We're like these little fucking animals.
Dude, the worst is only one side of my head is really gray, and the other one's kind of normal. So it's just
You
not.
have like I got gray nose hairs now.
Oh yeah,
I'm starting to get those, dude.
Thank God for Manscaped.
Yeah, I wouldn't know without that weed whacker, dude. I don't know what I would do.
Oh man. All right, hey dude, let's go check out the
do it.
wrestling ring. And check out the wrestling ring we did. He dove off one corner while I did a backflip over him from the other corner. Pretty psyched on that. And the guy's like a little kid, man. He got in his wrestling ring. He was just so excited and bouncing off the ropes and just running around like, dude, I really fell in love with him, man. And I fell in love with you guys a long time ago. Those of you who stick around to the very end, and especially the ones who stick around to the very end and then take a screenshot of the podcast anywhere, and then you take that screenshot and you post it so that you can tag me and so that you can tag the guest David Arquette to let them know what a great podcast that was, how much you enjoyed it. And I do encourage you to check out his documentary. It's called You Cannot Kill David Arquette, and it really I loved it. I absolutely loved the doc, and I loved the guy, and I love you. Yeah, dude.